today's video, I'm gonna show you step by step how to go live to Facebook Live using OBS. Now, Facebook keeps making some changes, but today's gonna be an updated video, so let's dive right into it. What is going on, guys? Sam Live Production tips and tools here, helping you master live streaming. So the first thing you need to do, obviously, you need to go to Google and type in OBS Studio if you don't have OBS downloaded already. So you want to make sure you go to OBS Studio in Google, and the first one is going to show up from obsproject.com. That's the one you're gonna click on. So you want to make sure you go ahead and actually, either if you're using Windows, click to the version that applies to your operating system. So if you're using Windows, go ahead and download the Windows version. If you use Mac, same thing. If you use Linux, same thing. The process is super easy. All you gotta do, just click. It's gonna show up in your download folder and just click on it. It's going to install. Should be super easy. Once you have it downloaded, the fresh copy of OBS should look like something like this. Again, I already have mine downloaded. Okay, so what we need to do, the first thing we're gonna do, you're gonna have the first scene here. Mine have renamed welcome. Okay, again, you can just right click on it and then go to rename. Okay, and then you can rename it the way you want. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it welcome. Okay, this is gonna be your first scene. Now, just to give you an overview of what OBS really is, it's just a streaming software. You can even use it to record, but in general, this is where you have all the scenes which are made by sources, and sources are going to be a combination of graphics, videos, or camera feeds, audio like a microphone, music. So you combine all those, and those sources will make a scene. Now we have the audio mixer. This is where, you're gonna be able to mix, your audio, microphones, feed, your music and everything. You have your transitions here. You have your controls here. This is where you're gonna, hit start streaming, start recording if you wanna record, if you wanna use a virtual camera. Okay, and that's pretty much it. You can also choose the studio mode if you wanna kind of preview before you send something to the live. This is what people see when you are live streaming. This is your preview if you want to kind of work on something before you send them live. Okay, and that's pretty much it. You have the file section here. This is where you can do things like, if you're recording, you can show recordings, you can access settings and stuff like that. For the edit tab, this is where if you want to do things like copy paste and stuff like that, you can do that. Again, I invite you to go and explore the whole user interface, but it's actually super easy and very straightforward. So we're not gonna take too much time exploring OBS. Probably gonna make another separate video about this. Okay, what we need to do for now, I'm gonna go ahead and actually create our first scene and add sources so we can go live on Facebook. So again, we got the first scene, which is the welcome scene. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and click the plus sign here under that scene, and we're gonna create our first scene, which is the welcome scene, which is what people actually get to see before you go live. What we're gonna do, some people use a countdown timer, like a timer from like 10 minutes until you go live, but for now you're just gonna create a simple image. Okay, and that's gonna be an image that says welcome, and that's what we want people to see before actually we start speaking on a live stream. Okay, and then for the image, we're gonna call it welcome image, and then hit OK. And then what we need to do, we're gonna go ahead and go to image file and hit browse. Okay, but again, I have some images already that I've actually created on my desktop here. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the folder and I have this image called welcome. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and actually click on it. Again, you can go to Photoshop or Canva, create something that you want people to see, that goes with your brand and your messaging, right? Whatever you want to display before you go live. It could be a video or it could be an image. Okay, and then hit OK, and as you can see, it shows up right here. Now this is not live. Again, if you exit the studio mode, it's gonna show up as soon as you add it or as soon as you select it, but I like to use the studio mode because it gives you an opportunity to preview something before actually it goes live. Okay, now the next thing we are going to add some music on this scene. okay, so that when you go, before you go live, people can see the image, but they can also enjoy some music, right? So we're gonna go under the same scene and we go to sources, hit the plus sign, and then we're gonna go to media source. And for the media source, we say, let's call it intro music. We're gonna go ahead and click OK. And then what we're gonna do, we wanna make sure we check the loop, because we need the music to be looping in case the music is kind of short. You want it to repeat, right? You don't want to be playing it manually. And then we're gonna go ahead and actually hit browse again. Now I've got some music saved already from Epidemic Sound. This is what they call royalty-free music, which means I can use this music without having any copyright issues and everything. I have a link down below to Epidemic Sound if you wanna try them out and see if you like them. I like their music for sure, so I encourage you to check them out. So I'm gonna go to Epidemic Sound, my music that I have downloaded from Epidemic Sound, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose a song here, this one right here, and I'm gonna click OK. And then again, I make sure it's looping, and I'm gonna hit OK. And as you can see, the music is right here and it's already playing. Now next, we are going to add our camera. This is for us to be able to go live. So after you play the welcome scene, at some point, of course, you need to go live. So we're gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign again under scenes, and for this one, we're gonna call it main camera. I'm gonna hit OK, and then under the main camera, I'm gonna hit the plus sign, and I'm gonna go to where it says video capture device, okay, and I'm gonna call it main camera, and I'm gonna go ahead OK. And for this one, we're gonna go ahead, go under device, and we're gonna look for our camera. Now depending on what you're using, personally I have a webcam connected and I have my ATEM Mini Pro connected to my camera, which is GH5. So depending on what you have connected, some people use a phone, it should actually be able to show up here. Most cameras are going to be connected using a USB cable, okay? So for now, I have my Opus Tiny 2 stream camera, which is my webcam, and we're gonna go ahead and actually click to it. And as you can see, it actually shows up no problem, okay? So what we need to do, you need to go under resolution type. You can actually go to custom. I like to customize it. And then resolution, I'm gonna go ahead and choose 1920 by 1080p. Again, this one has even 4K if I wanted to live stream in 4K. Unfortunately, Facebook does not take 4K. And FPS, I wanna make sure I go to 30 frames per second. Okay, again, if you're gaming, probably want to do 60 frames per second. Video format, you can leave it the way it is. Everything else, you can actually leave it the way it is. You don't have to change much, and you can go ahead and actually click OK. And as you can see, we have a camera. For now, we have our camera, but it's not live. What's live right now? I mean, we're not live yet, but if we were live on Facebook, which is gonna be what we're gonna be doing in a moment, people would actually see the welcome scene only. What we're gonna do now, we need people to be able to hear us, which is we need our microphone to be added as well. And after that, we're gonna add a little bit of background music. So you wanna spice it up a little bit. So when we're talking, you want just a little tiny background music playing as well. So we're gonna go ahead under the main camera again, hit the plus sign, and we're gonna go ahead and choose audio input capture. Okay, that's for us to be able to add our microphone, and we're gonna call it main mic. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK. And then we're gonna go under device, and we're gonna look for our microphone. Okay, so for now, what we have, a microphone that I use, my main microphone is actually called Microphone Roadcaster Duo Main. This is my main microphone right now. And as soon as, again, yours could be something else, okay? Mostly it's gonna be a USB microphone connected directly into your computer, or it's something else, could be a XLR microphone like this one connected into an interface, and the name of your interface is gonna show up in OBS. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK, and as you can see, my microphone showing up. Okay, so now we have our mic, and then we have our welcome scene, of course, and then we have our camera. Okay, the next thing we have to add before we go live to Facebook, we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of background music. Okay, so this is crucial. You have to do it the right way. If you don't know how to do it, please don't do it, because it may be destructive. Okay, so what we need to do, we're gonna do the same thing that we did on the first scene, which is gonna be a media source. and then we're gonna call it background music, and then we're gonna hit OK, and then we're gonna make sure it actually it's looping, and then you want to make sure you choose a piece of music that's actually settled, not distracting, it's not fighting with your voice. Okay, again, you don't have to do this. If you don't need the background music to be there, you don't have to do it. This is optional. So let's use this low 5. Okay, this is just an example. Make sure it loops and then hit OK. And then for this one, because we are talking over it, we want to make sure we actually reduce the volume. Okay, so we need to take this to the program for us to be able to see all the signal. So you need to take this in, and what we need to do, as you can see, we got my microphone here, but we also have our music playing. So you need to reduce the music to something like -50, right? Make sure it's super low. Okay, now another key secret for you to be able to monitor this kind of stuff, because if you're playing some music, you want to make sure you monitor your music. Okay, what we're gonna do, you want to make sure you have your headphones on, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and start with our welcome scene. Okay, so I'm gonna take it to program, and then I'm gonna go to audio mixer, right click, go to advanced audio properties, and then this is our intro music. For us to be able to monitor it, we need to go to under audio monitoring and go to monitor and outputs. So right now I can actually monitor the intro music. Okay, as soon as you hit output, okay, and monitor, you are able to hear it. Okay, so now since this one, as you can see, I'm controlling the volume, no problem. Now since this one is actually going to be playing when I'm not talking or when you're not talking, it's okay. You can actually leave the volume around something like this. Okay, this is fine. Okay, all right, now we're going to go to the next one, which is gonna be this one right here, the next scene. So for this one, we need the music to be really low. Okay, so what we need to do, we're gonna do the same thing. Go to audio mixer, go to advanced audio properties. Okay, and then go to background music, which is this one, audio monitoring. Under audio monitoring, we're gonna go ahead and click monitor and output, and then as you can see now, as soon as I hit close, I should be able to hear the music. Okay, and right now it's super low. See, I can increase it. This is like full. But again, I don't want to do that because I'm going to be talking. So I need people to hear what I'm saying. So I'll say I'm going to put it around -45. Like -45 is perfect. Okay. Again, I can hear it. I can even mute it if I want. If it's kind of too distracting, you can mute it. If maybe you get to a point where you're not talking, maybe you're doing some other stuff, you can increase it a little bit, right? But again, if you want it to be playing in the background, you just put it around -45, between -50 and -45 should be perfect. So this is good, right? So in moments where you're kind of silent, this is gonna be super awesome. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, so now we have everything. We have our welcome scene. So this is what people see before you go live, and then we have when you're ready, you transition to this that's actually in preview, and then you can start talking. Hey, what's up guys, my name is Sam. We are live right now on Facebook, and you got background music playing, and you got a microphone and everything ready for you. Okay, so now we are ready to go live on Facebook. We're gonna go to this settings button here, and we need to make sure everything's good. So our output, make sure the streaming output is good. Okay, easy here. You go to, let's say, to stream. This is where we're gonna be setting up our stream, and then you want to make sure you actually have the base canvas set at 1920 by 1080p, and you want to make sure you have your output scaled. Actually, if you want to stream in 720p, you can leave it the way it is right now. However, Facebook now takes 1920 by 1080p, so if you want to stream in full HD, you want to make sure you actually go ahead and choose 1920 by 1080, no problem. The common FPS value, you want to make sure it's actually at 30 frames per second. If you're gaming, you probably want to have it at 60, but for us, we're not gaming, so we're gonna keep it at 30 frames per second. and that should be it. You don't have to change much. Okay, just hit apply. Everything else we're gonna be doing it in a moment. Now for the base canvas resolution, if you have using a monitor, there's actually your screen, your actual screen that you're using to live stream. If it's 4K, you can use a 4K resolution here. You can change it to your monitor's resolution. However, basically this is your monitor's resolution. It has nothing to do with what goes live. For the output resolution, this is what people see on Facebook. So you want to make sure it's actually 1920 by 1080p if you want to stream in full HD, of course. And why not? Why wouldn't you stream in full HD? So that's the basic stuff before we actually go live to Facebook. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to minimize OBS and we're going to go ahead and actually open Facebook. Right now, I have my Facebook page ready and open. Okay. And before we actually go live, what I'm going to show you real quick is I'm going to go ahead and ask you to go to Google and type in internet speed test. Why? You need to make sure you have enough internet bandwidth to be able to go live. So you're going to go ahead and search internet speed test. And then the first one that pops up, just go ahead and hit run speed test. Now, it's going to run your speed test and it's going to tell you how much you have available. However, the rule is you really want to make sure you pay attention to the upload speed. And another thing is make sure you don't stream over Wi-Fi. If you're streaming from your office, make sure you have an actual Ethernet cable plugged in because it's going to help you give you a stable internet connection. Wi-Fi is not reliable. Sometimes may kind of break. So you want to make sure you use a cable. All right, as you can see, I have more than enough upload speed. For Facebook, if you want to stream in full HD 1080p, or you need a maximum of 6000 kbps, okay, or 6 megabits per second. That's the max. So it's between 3 and 6 mbps, megabits per second, okay. So for that, you need at least a speed of 12 megabits per second of internet or upload speed. So if you have 12, usually it's like the double of what you need. You should actually be good to stream at 6. Now, if you have less than 12, let's say you have something like 8, probably want to reduce to something like 4 megabits per second. It will still work. Now, the minimum is 3 megabits per second. Facebook will still take it. However, that's like the low end of things. It will still work. If you don't have enough internet speed, you can still use that one for sure. Okay, so now what we need to do, we're gonna go ahead and go to my page, back to my Facebook page. And what you need to do, you need to go where it says live video. Click on live video. And then what you need to do, you need to go where it says go live right here. So we're gonna go ahead and click the go live button again. Okay, and then once we get here, Facebook is going to open something for us, and then you have two choices. You have a choice to select a video source or to use a streaming software. For us, we are using a streaming software, which is OBS, so we're gonna choose this option. Now we're gonna go to the underneath where it says streaming software setup, and then you wanna make sure you click the advanced so you can open more options. Now we need two main things. The first one, we need the streaming key. And the second one, we need the server URL. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and make sure you hide your streaming key, by the way. Okay, so the first thing, we're gonna go ahead and copy the server URL. Okay, just hit copy, minimize, go to OBS, and then go to settings. And then under settings, we're gonna go to stream, and then we're gonna go choose custom. You don't have to choose Facebook. You still have Facebook Live, okay? But for us, because we wanna use custom, sometimes if you use just Facebook the way it says, they're gonna impose you some stuff that you don't need to do, okay? So just hit paste server URL. Okay, the next thing we need is gonna be the stream key. So we hit apply and hit okay. And then go back to Facebook, and then we're gonna go to the stream key, hit copy. Again, don't show your stream key to anyone, and go back to OBS, go to settings, and then go to stream, and then go to stream key, and then hit paste, and then hit apply. Okay, now before we hit okay, we wanna go to output. Okay, go to stream, and then make sure your video encoder, if you have a dedicated graphics design, make sure it's NVIDIA NVENC H264. If you don't have a dedicated graphics card, you can actually use the X264, no problem. And then you want to go under rate control. You want to make sure it's checked CBR. And then for the bit rate, make sure you actually have 6000. So 600, okay, for the bit rate to make sure you get the highest. Okay, keyframe interval, you can actually leave at 0. Everything else you can leave it the way it is, and then hit apply and hit OK. Okay, so now what we are actually ready to go live. Again, I don't need to have my headphones. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I have the welcome scene before I go live. So I'm gonna hit the cat. So the welcome scene is gonna be, that's what people are going to see actually before we go live. Okay, and what we need to do, you're just gonna go here where it says start streaming. So hit the start streaming, and right now we need to go to Facebook. Okay, I can actually minimize OBS for you guys to see, and as you can see, we have a feed coming from OBS already. So we are not live yet. Okay, so what we gotta do here is I'm gonna go ahead, go to where it says add post details. Okay, this is important. If you don't do this, it's not gonna go live. Okay, but before we go live, we're gonna go ahead and go to where it says what's your live video about. So you need to go ahead and add the title. So the title is gonna be, let's say, testing OBS. Again, you can make your own title, and then description is required as well. Say testing OBS. Okay, again, you want to make sure you put something that's related to actually your video. Okay, and hit OK. Now we are not live yet, and as you can see, we have an error back in OBS. Okay, Facebook is saying keyframe rate too low. Okay, so what we need to do is we go back to OBS and then go to settings. Okay, to the output tab here, and then what we need to do, we need to go ahead actually here, keyframe interval, we're gonna make sure we actually check 2 and then hit apply. This is important. Hit apply. This is what Facebook requires, and hit OK. And then we're gonna go ahead, go back to Facebook and see if the error is actually solved. Okay, just gonna hit like this. Okay, and right now, because we changed that, as you can see, everything's good. Okay, so the only thing you have to do, as soon as you add the post details here, right, and you also have an option to share in groups or pages, other pages. As you can see, I have some pages where I can actually promote the live stream and everything. As soon as you're ready, all you have to do is just click this go live button, and you're gonna be able to go live on Facebook. Okay, as soon as you're ready, you can go back and actually change to the main scene where you can actually start talking. As you can see here in Facebook, you have a feed, and as you can see, it says 1920 by 1080p available, no problem. Okay, ready to go. And as you can see now, you can start talking. You got your background, you got your microphone, sound, and everything looks good. Okay, now if you see that you keep getting errors, or even if it was just one error, it's important, let's say if this happens before you go live, you need to shut down your stream. Okay, again, just do a little bit of testing, shut down your stream, adjust the settings back in OBS, and make sure everything looks good. That's why I have a dedicated video that I made that shows you step by step how to nail all the OBS settings for Facebook Live. And this is gonna guarantee you to never ever have any error messages like what we were actually seeing before we go live on this video. So you want to make sure you check out that video, because that's the only way you can avoid errors or having any issues while you live stream. So that video is gonna be linked right here, and I'll see you there, guys. Take care.